Hello, everyone. My name is Michael, and this is Braden Consulting Law Firm. Today, we're going to have a conversation with Andy. Andy, hi there. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm great. It's really nice to be in here, and thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, thanks for joining our video. So today, I would like to ask a few questions about your, ordinary life here in Russia, and a few
Sure.
words about your background. So yeah, let's start with your background. So can you please tell me what are you doing? What is your main goal of being in Russia? So feel free to to tell us everything about your life.
Sure. Okay. So I'm originally from Zimbabwe. That's my passport, but I was born in Botswana, not so far from Zimbabwe. I think it's
Mhm.
like a 5 hour flight
Yeah.
from there. And long story short, I moved to Russia because of my wife. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, we met in China and we were teachers there, but then the COVID happened,
Yeah.
so she couldn't come back. So
Mhm.
I had not that many choices and options, so I decided I would go and be with her, of course.
Mhm.
We were dating that time, but I proposed. I think that was like a year after the COVID happened. So yeah, my goal basically in Russia, originally it was just to be with her because I mean
Yeah.
that's the basis of a relationship. But I think as time has progressed, I've gotten a lot more into vlogging and also sharing some stuff that I see in Russia. And I guess my main objective is basically to rewrite a lot of stereotypes that I see online because when I
Mhm.
was home, there was also a certain idea of what people thought Russia
Yeah.
was or is. And when I came here, it was completely different. So
Mhm.
I like that feeling of sharing something online, and then my friends are like, "Wow, is this really how Russia is?" We get different news from our news outlets. So I feel like my main objective here is maybe to spread enough truth so people can sort of make a
Mhm.
determination for themselves rather than what's on their TV screen. Yeah.
I see. I see. Well, sounds really interesting and sounds great. So basically, you're married to a Russian citizen, right?
Yes.
So as I think our subscribers and followers already know that this is the legal ground for a simplified procedure of getting a temporary residence permit in Russia.
Mhm.
And yeah, after 8 months of holding this temporary residence permit, you can apply for a permanent residence permit issued forever. Um, yeah, but if you're planning to have a common child, then you can just skip the temporary residence permit stage and apply directly for VNG for a permanent residence permit. But let me get back to your professional life. So you've
Yes.
mentioned that you're a teacher. Can you please tell me a little bit more about it?
Sure. So I am a Chinese and English teacher.
Wow.
Um, yeah, it's a bit odd, but I spent a decade in China.
Mhm.
So 3 or 4 of my years in China, I was basically a student.
Mhm.
And to graduate, we had to know Chinese because the government basically said you can't come to our country and not know our culture. So
I see. I see.
it made sense. So we were
Mhm.
forced.
Mhm.
Not forced. I mean, it was a choice because
Yeah.
we decided to go to China. I don't think it's really being forced.
Mhm.
But yeah. So I learned Chinese. I also teach English, but my major was international trade. I guess my
Mhm.
initial dream was basically to work in Russia in trade,
Mhm.
but currently my Russian is not at the peak of what it should be.
That was
So,
my actually that was my next question.
mhm,
So comparing like Mandarin, like Chinese, right, and
yes.
Russian. So what would you say about learning? So is it hard to what is the I would
Hmm.
say like yesterday I just had a conversation with one of our clients, and
Yeah.
he told me that it was easier for him to learn Mandarin than Russian. So what can you say about it? Is that
I mean,
true?
I agree with him, but a lot of people say I'm
Wow.
crazy because they say, oh no, the Chinese characters and the tones, but Russian is so complex in the sense that I feel like the grammar also rivals the English language because, for example, I'm learning different kinds of verbs for my
Verbs, yes, verbs are, verbs change, right? So
exactly.
depend on the, yeah, that's kind of a pain. I know, gotcha. Because,
Truthfully
yeah,
is. So,
I mean, that's one of the necessary documents, as you may know, for the
mm-hmm.
temporary residence permit is the certificate of passing Russian language, history,
Yes,
and legislation exam. So that's why, and also, of course, while you live here, right? So it's really beneficial for you to learn Russian language.
of course, yeah.
Yeah, so let's get back to your your normal ordinary life here in Russia. So having your basic Russian language skill, right? Uh, is it okay for you just to communicate here in Moscow? What is your you know what is the feedback? what
Mm-hmm.
what what can you say about a normal conversation with a Russian citizen?
Yeah, I think it's not that hard because I guess like the basics of
Mhm.
like maybe metros and
Yeah.
going around. I think the basics I've got down, but I would like to get deeper into it. So I also have a tutor, and
Hmm.
my wife sometimes, basically in metaphoric forms, changes
Yeah.
the channel into a Russian channel
Yeah.
when she speaks to me. So yeah, I feel like it's easier to learn Russian, especially when you're surrounded by the people that speak it. And her grandmother, I think,
100%.
is my best teacher as well because she doesn't speak a lick of English, so it's perfect.
I see. Wow. Yeah, that's really helpful. This is the advantage here. Also, you've mentioned that you're blogging, right? So
Yeah.
can you please tell us a few words about your yeah blog itself?
Okay. So yeah, my vlog is called AfroLev, right?
Hmm.
Which is
Left
of course
lion. Okay.
lion.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually funny because my wife and I came up with this name, but it was a joke
Hmm.
before. Because I guess she's always wanted to see a lion. She's never been to um, Africa yet. So
Uh-huh.
I basically promised her when all of this drama is done with all the documentation, etc., I will take her to see a lion. So we joked about me making a channel in the future, and I had this idea of roaring truths. That
Mm.
was the idea. And I, of
Yeah.
course, African, AfroLev. I decided to
Mm.
combine the words together. The channel is the same on YouTube and Instagram and other platforms, the AfroLev. Um, and I basically make these mini vlogs about the differences, or
Mm.
sometimes I share my views and opinions about some things. I
Mm.
am not so politically poised, so
Mhm.
I tend to stay on things which I have the knowledge about, because, of course, I feel like um, there are people more qualified than me
Mhm.
to speak about these things. But yeah,
Yeah.
basically the life, maybe some news, etc. And I am recently trying to speak more Russian on the channel
Mhm.
because I'm noticing most of my fans are foreign
Mhm.
because I speak English most of the time. I also wanted to garner some attention from some of my Russian viewers because I think it's a perfect chance to interact and share opinions and stuff like that. So,
I see. I see. Well, do you have any videos about Russian food? I think that it may be interesting for your subscribers because there are some differences, right?
oh yes.
Because
Uh-huh.
yeah. So top three Russian dishes.
Top three.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think in no particular order, I think borscht has to be in there because I mean traditional
Definitely.
meal, really nice. The smetana on top, it's perfect. A lot of people also find this very strange, but I also like sochnik. I like
Sochnik.
sochnik.
Wow,
Yes,
that's good. I'm a fan of sochnik.
Yeah,
Or
but many of my friends say, "Oh, it's a usual food, tvirajok. It's not that amazing." But
Mhm.
there is this place in Ramenki that has this amazing sochnik that seems to be
Yeah.
better than any other sochnik I tried. So I think maybe they've kind of inflated my idea
Oh,
of how
jeez.
good sochnik is.
I see.
Um, and I think the last one, I would say, I love Russian pancakes. I love
Thank
the
you.
thinness of them. I love the fact that you can add salty things and
Mhm.
various other foods. And I think maybe if I'm nitpicking, I would also possibly choose. There's this really smelly fish. I think it's called a sprotje.
Sprote. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. This is
pretty
the
good.
canned fish, basically.
Yes, exactly.
And so you've been living in the China, right? And I think that you can compare like Russian pilmeni, like Russian dumplings,
Yes.
Chinese dumplings. So what can you say? Are they like similar or completely different?
Mm. I think they have a lot of similarities, but I think possibly maybe the preparation and the
Mm,
filling is a little bit different.
mhm, mhm.
Because I've noticed the filling in balmini is generally like a bowl,
Yeah,
like of meat.
it looks
Yeah,
like a ball. Yeah.
exactly. But in China, it's like sometimes you get these additional things, um, and I would say that their balmini is pretty similar,
Mhm,
but I'm not quite sure because I think I've always had the frozen
mhm.
balmini. Maybe I've eaten in one or two Soviet restaurants, I think. But I think the taste is pretty similar. Maybe the choice of filling is slightly different,
I
but
see.
not such a
I
big leap. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm. Gotcha. Well, all right. Can you just, name the best thing in Russia from your point of view,
Mm,
and the worst maybe. So because yeah, we need to share the information for those guys who want to relocate to Russia and live
sure.
here. And of course, we have advantages and disadvantages as any country in the world.
Yes.
So what do you think about like best and the worst?
Okay. I think the best for me would possibly be two things that I like hand in hand. The first one I think is I like the convenience of things. The
Mhm.
metro is very, very easy to use. I think possibly the best metro that I've used ever. Really quick, 3 minutes between each train. I can go anywhere in Moscow. I pay at least, I think it's about is it 3,000 rubles a month for a metro card. Uh,
It's like
yeah,
57 rubles for a one ride, which is
yeah,
like 50 cents, right? So it's
exactly. So like for
kind
a
of good.
month, I think it's like 3,000 rubles, which is even cheaper. I mean,
Yeah.
'cause I use that every single day. So I feel like
Hmm.
that's a good way of saving. Um, but I also think generally being the person I am, because I live in China, I'm pretty noticeable. I'm 186 centimeters tall. I'm this big black guy. So I'm very visible.
Yeah.
But in Russia, I think I feel more at home strangely because I think specifically in Moscow, because I think it's
Hmm.
a very exposed country. There are many different cultures. I don't really feel strange. I feel invisible, which I like because I like to feel like I am in
Hmm.
a place where I belong.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sure.
yeah, because believe it or not, I'm Zimbabwean. I was born in Botswana, and people in Botswana actually don't like Zimbabweans. So it
Ah,
was a very strange
I
thing
see.
because they would say, "Oh, you are not from
Mm,
here," and I'm like, "But I was born here." They're like, "No, you're Zimbabwean,"
get
and
it.
it's this
Yeah.
weird confusion. I think every country has a certain country which they don't like. I think it's all over
Hmm.
the world with different countries, but here, no one really cares, and I think that's just perfect for me because it gives me time to just move around. In China, the variation was a lot different because people just come to your face and take pictures, and you feel like a celebrity. But sometimes
And
you want to be,
annoying. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, maybe for the first time it may be like you feel like some sort of a celebrity, but
exactly.
I think that later on it's not that cool. So
Exactly.
because
It gets
they may
boring.
be
Yeah.
just a line because I've heard some stories from our clients who used to live in China also. So they're white and the same thing. So people just come over and wants to take a photo with them. That's kind of yeah, that's kind of cool, but
Yeah.
later on it can be a bummer. Okay, I see. And what is not that good for you here in Russia? So let's talk about this.
Mm.
Weather. What do you think about the weather?
I would have said weather maybe a year ago, but I think,
Yeah, you
but
got
I
used
think
to it.
living in Russia for like a year, because I've been in and out because of
Hmm.
like the whole visa stuff. But
Hmm.
I think I actually prefer winter in
Wow.
some weird way because I like I like the snow now, which is weird because
Hmm.
I think I'm from a place where
Yeah.
there's no snow at all.
Hmm.
So I think the weather's okay for me, but my wife tells me, "Let me reassure you, you have not felt the full force of Russian winter." So I don't know yet. She's like, "Okay," because I felt -14. She's like, "That's nothing.
Hmm.
That's nothing."
That's
So
nothing. I believe that during this winter, I mean January, February,
yeah,
like we had lots of days with like -30. Which is not that it's not so popular here in Moscow. So that
yeah,
what that winter was kind of cold actually, and then we're not into cold winters actually. So that's why my first idea was weather. Yeah.
yeah. Um, I'm not. I don't think I have such a negative thing yet. I
Hmm.
think more of the negative aspect is within myself
Hmm. Hmm.
because I feel like possibly I could learn Russian better
Hmm.
because not knowing the language, it kind of makes me feel upset with myself because I guess there are more things or more opportunities which I could gather
Hmm.
by speaking a lot better. So negatives, I'm not really focused on negatives outside. I'm more of like concerned about myself, and I feel like
Yeah.
if my Russian was a little bit better, maybe I could have a lot more opportunities. For example, I'm preparing for the Russian state exam.
Hmm.
Um, I'm trying my best to study as hard as possible. Perhaps if I was a victim, I could say, "Oh my goodness, it's so hard to relocate to Russia because I have to write an exam." But I think more of me looking within myself, I feel bad because I think I can try harder to
Yeah.
pass
Good.
the exam. So not yet. I
Hmm.
don't really have anything negative yet because I feel like my wife and her family have made this experience, I think possibly the best experience of my life so far. So not yet. But I think for me, I'm more of angry at myself
I see.
because I
Gotcha.
could work harder, I think. Mhm.
Well, lots of our clients could answer this question and they could tell me that it is bureaucracy. Uh,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so
Mhm.
that's why people hire lawyers. Okay, so just try to avoid this
Yeah.
this pain. But yeah, I just wish you good luck with your legal stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because you're about to apply for the temporary residence permit. And yes, also, I hope that your Russian language exam would go smooth
I appreciate
as
that.
much as possible. So, and Andy, I just want to tell you that it was really informative and really nice to talk with you.
Same.
Thank you so much, and you may share with the links to your Instagram and YouTube, right? Do you have maybe a channel on Telegram?
Not yet. I've been a lot of people are telling me I should. I guess because I'm kind of new
I
to
think
Telegram.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of handy. It's convenient. All right, Andy, thank you so much for being here. And I just want to tell to our viewers and subscribers to check this video and yeah, please join our YouTube channel, our social media, and we'll be happy to see you among our followers. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye, Andy.
So,
Thanks.
bye. Thanks for having me.